Do you love the Tabernacle Choir? This year, the choir's music is everywhere you are. Listen to your favorite choir songs and music and the spoken word anytime you want on Alexa by simply enabling the skill.
Alexa, play music in the spoken word.
Now playing music in the spoken word.
You can also download the Tabernacle Choir app, subscribe to the choir on YouTube, listen on Spotify, and have access to all their wonderful music. Happy listening.
The Jazz, the Mammoth, and the Utes, Cougars, and Aggies. When it comes to sports in Utah, we've got you covered. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LaCoe, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Tim Lacombe. Let's talk a little Utes. Joining us now, Ute insider and overall good dude. If you are throwing a barbecue, you want this guy at your house because it was great being able to chat with him, his wife, beautiful son running around as well. Steve Bartle, kind enough to hang out with us. Steve, how you doing?
Man, I'm still digesting all the barbecue you provided, Scotty. That was great stuff, man.
See, look, I like a lot of people on our staff. Like, they're all great. But if Madison, and this isn't a knock on Maddie, if Maddie says it's good barbecue, it's like, okay, I appreciate that. That means a lot. It's very nice of her. But when Steve says it's good barbecue, that carries a little bit because you've been out and about. You're in Big 12 country. You've traveled with teams. You've had some of the best barbecue out there. That one carries a little bit more value to me. So I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Well, I appreciate that as well. I'm not any sort of barbecue connoisseur, but after coming off the three straight days of barbecue in Texas, that stuff you put out over the weekend was pretty good, Scotty.
That was crazy. Right on the heels of that, everybody was talking about how great it was, and then I don't know if you'd find a brisket, that good in Texas. Scotty did a great job, but Steve,
yeah,
great to have you on. We were just talking about how Morgan Scally, he just signed off social media a couple days ago, I saw, and it's down into the cave. Year one awaits. How exciting is this time in Utah football?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of excitement for the Morgan Scally era to begin. And it's not that it's strictly excitement. I do think there's, concerns, there's worries about how things are going to go. But overall, and interacting with fans and kind of following along over the last few months, there is just an overwhelming amount of excitement for Scally and what this is going to look like. I think every opportunity, he's had in the public facing situations, right? From his introductory press conference back in January to the opportunities we had to speak with him at media availabilities in spring ball to, a couple weeks ago at media days, he's just looked comfortable in the role where it not that it's easy, but just that it's something he's prepared for. And if there's one thing that you can count on with Morgan Scally, it's that he's going to be as prepared as possible. And obviously, with him being a first-year head coach, there are going to be things that he's going to learn and experience for the first time. But I think Utah fans have come to know that, they can trust Scally to be as prepared as anybody potentially can be.
So, when you look at the roster overall, and and you had mentioned this, and I was talking to some people close to the team at Big 12 Media today. They said, don't sleep on this wide receiver core. They're really fired up about that group of receivers that Dampierre is going to have at his disposal.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought this up this early. I'm actually about to publish a piece on the wide receivers and, specifically Braden Pagan. And, Scotty, you got to watch him up close all last season. And with Pagan, he is the type of receiver that just sort of he has the potential to kind of change the math for Utah in a way that they just couldn't with the passing game last year. And I think that's, an interesting element to add to what we've come to know Utah offense to be, where it's a lot of run game, a lot of ground and pound and physicality. And Kyle always talked about the need for receivers to develop. But I think Morgan and the work that they did in the transfer portal of bringing in Braden Pagan, bringing in Kyrie Scholes, and another from Mississippi State and Ricky Johnson, who Devin Dampier raved about, throughout Big 12 media days. Utah's really added to that wide receiver room in a way that they haven't really in the past, and I'm really curious to see it all sort of come together this season. But going back to what we watched in spring ball, they're going to use these receivers and they're going to get the ball to them in a variety of ways. And I think what Dev did last month in bringing down, a handful of receivers, he brought Pagan, Scholes, Ricky Johnson, and Larry Simmons. He brought them down to Arizona for a week, paid for flights, paid for, housing, and they spent a week together just to kind of build that chemistry on and off the field. And I think in talking to Dev at media days, he said that was really beneficial for them. And I think they're focused on hitting the ground running once the season gets going, in the passing game.
What is in terms of the running game? Wayshawn's obviously coming off a great year, but I expect him to be. I don't know. I mean, he was the featured guy, but he was not out there all the time. Expect him to really carry a load this year, and he looked primed to do it. What are your thoughts on Wayshawn?
Yeah, he was, with Wayshawn, he was dealing with something minor early on in the season, and Utah was kind of slow playing, his workload over the course of the season, where, come October and getting into November, he really started to hit his stride. He had, a handful of games of consecutive, triple digits, getting to 100 yards, came up just 19 yards short of 1,000. And, our colleague Josh Furlong wrote an article this week highlighting, his sort of motivation this year in wanting to get that mark, but still putting the team first. So I think Utah is entering this year with the idea of him being more of that, bell cow and being more of that workhorse and making him the focal point of the run game more so than they did last year. And like I said, he was dealing with something early on, just a nagging little injury that they sort of managed as best they could. And I think with Devin Dampier and Bird Ficklin and just the dual threat ability that they have, their usage in the option attack, I think the run game is still going to be pretty prominent in this offense under McGiven. And for Wayshawn, I think he's really motivated to put together a really strong year. I'm excited to see what it looks like.
Steve Bartle, Ute Insider, KSLSports.com, joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A lot of people always fired up to see an SEC team. Now, Arkansas may not move the meter, but Eric Weddle should, as he will be put his name in the Ring of Honor coming up in that game. It'll be fun to have him and his family back into town. But for all the kids out there, I don't know if they really appreciate just how good of a player Eric Weddle was.
Man, you ain't kidding, Scotty. It's interesting, going back and looking at some of the highlights from over the course of Weddle's career in the NFL and, in his time at Utah. He was so dynamic, a two-way threat at Utah and did it all. And, all of the talk, the last couple of years has been about Travis Hunter being a two-way dynamic player. And, rightfully so, right? Travis Hunter was fantastic, but Eric Weddle, doing what he did at Utah all those years ago, playing both ways, being that wildcat QB. I remember watching him. I can't remember the bowl game because it escapes me, but his matchup with Calvin Johnson and Georgia Tech, and that
Emerald
was
City Bowl. It was
City Bowl.
The one
That's
in
what
San
it was.
Francisco. Yeah. Yep.
Yep, that was the one, and that was a matchup that he took a lot of pride, in taking on a receiver like Calvin Johnson. And I don't remember the numbers, but I know that Johnson was pretty limited that game, and just it speaks to Weddle's overall ability that he was willing to take on um, one of the top receivers in the country that year and held his own. So Weddle is fantastic and a great representative of Utah football. I think that's what the young generation has come to know him as. And Arkansas, like you said, maybe isn't the draw that maybe a Florida is. There was already a good amount of excitement for the Arkansas game, but now the fact that Eric Weddle, one of the most beloved figures in Utah football history, is going to be inducted into that ring of honor, I think the excitement has definitely ramped up a couple notches.
We had Ron McBride on yesterday. It was an awesome 45 minutes with Coach, and he was in rare form as always, promoting his upcoming concert in the foundation. But we talked about, both BYU and Utah a bit, and he made an interesting comment because I've heard a bunch of people say they're one of the things they have their eye on is the offensive line with a new coach and everything. But he kind of said, man, this offensive line is going to be good, and coming from Mac, who, he's the guy who can talk about offensive line. That was an interesting comment to me. What have you noticed about the offensive line, about Jordan Gross's coaching, and certainly Alex right there with him? But what's your thought on the offensive line going into the season?
Yeah, obviously that is the big question mark for Utah, right? You lose 2 first-round talents in Spencer Fano and Caleb Lomu. You lose also the 3 interior guys in Jaron Kump, Tanoa Togiai, and Michael Bokofisi. Those 5 players played a lot of snaps together. That sort of chemistry and understanding and feel of what you're going up against on a snap-to-snap basis is just something that Utah isn't going to be able to replicate. But the benefit that they have is the fact that a lot of players that Jim Harding has recruited over the years and, have been able to spend multiple years in the program now, stuck around with Jordan Gross coming in. And I think that that's significant for Utah because these players are familiar with the culture. They're familiar with the expectations. They've been obviously coached up by one of the best in Jim Harding. And now the opportunity to work with Jordan Gross, I think it's one in talking to a couple players that they really were excited for. And obviously it's bittersweet, for them, the players, having to say goodbye to Jim Harding, but also just an exciting opportunity to play for an all-time great who played your position, right? And I think that's been something that has been really noticeable in our conversations going back to spring ball with the offensive line. There was just a lot of excitement about Gross and what he was going to bring to the table. Watching that group over the course of spring, they definitely got better from week 1 to week 5. And it was a combination of, the collective bunch, but then also individuals that emerged and really finished camp strong. I've talked about him a couple times now, but Ike Garcia was a player that really came on over those final couple of weeks, and he's a former 4-star talent coming out of Corner Canyon, and he's somebody that if he continues on the trajectory that he finished spring ball on, I expect him to be, competing down to the wire for that starting job. He looked really good. And I think just the development. So that's got to continue. And I've been impressed with what we've seen going back to spring ball. We haven't been able to get our eyes on anybody just yet. But was encouraged with what we saw from the offensive line going back to spring ball.
It really seems like, and you've been at the forefront of the recruiting world and keeping track of the guys that are coming into the University of Utah. It seemed like there was a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe like a culture shock for a moment when Morgan took over the job. And then throughout the summer, Utah just stacked 4-star upon 4-star, like they got on a heater. It seemed like from, and again, I'm not in that world. I just look on social media and see when kids recruit and who Utah beat out for to get them. And it seems like things have settled in nicely for this crew just based on commitments they've been able to secure during the summer.
Yeah, when you go through a coaching change like Utah did, right? Going from a legend like Kyle Whittingham, who, um, his name carries a lot of weight, and kids growing up, last few years, they know who Kyle Whittingham is. They know Utah football because of Kyle Whittingham, and with the change, even though Morgan Scalley has been here and been on staff, there is still just kind of that sort of recruits maybe taking a step back from Utah just to kind of assess the situation. And I think Morgan really took a smart approach in focusing here locally and really hitting the in-state recruiting really hard. They got on a run. They had a handful of guys commit, from out of state, going into pipeline states like Texas and Arizona, continuing to bring in good players from those states. But Morgan really hit the Utah state line, within the state lines here, really really hard. And I think that is a smart move, because these are the players that are most familiar with what Utah is going through, obviously. So I think what'll be interesting is Utah is a program that has continued to evaluate and recruit through the season. They love to evaluate senior film, and that's led to some of these late additions, getting into November and December, some of these late commits and signees. A couple guys that come to mind. Bird Ficklin was a guy that committed in December, somebody that they didn't offer until just before his senior year. Daniel Bray was another player that committed in the month of December. So Utah's, now that they've got the bulk of their class in place, they feel good about the class, I'm sure. They love probably the makeup here. I know that that's always been a point of emphasis, is recruiting in state and still mining the pipeline states as well. But then continuing to build momentum, and they know that they have to provide substance to their message by going out this season and getting wins and putting together, a pretty successful season. That's going to carry the message a bit further as we get to the early signing period. But they feel good about where the class is at, and Utah has always been a program that likes to finish, strong and finish the season with a couple of commits.
The schedule seems to be one that is set up nicely for a new coach, new offensive line. Definitely backloaded, but playing a lot of games at home and playing a lot of teams against a lot of teams, you should be more aggressive then. What do you expect in those first 6 games?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really important for Utah, are those first 6 games. And obviously it starts with Idaho September 3rd, but then you've got that matchup against Arkansas. And even though Arkansas, has gone through a significant transition themselves, that is still an SEC program with, SEC talent and bodies, and that's going to be a challenge. Utah State coming down to Salt Lake City. Those are 3 games that Utah should probably be favored in all 3, very likely, obviously, with Idaho and Utah State. But then that sets them up well, going on the road for their first Big 12 matchup at Iowa State. Then they return home for Kansas before going on the road to Boulder. So, those first 6 games, again, I think really set up nicely for Morgan Scalley to work through some things. Obviously, we know the mistake correction from week 1 to week 2. That's where teams usually improve the most. So that's going to be important. But then getting into these other environments, going on the road to Iowa State and to Colorado, those are going to be challenging places. Iowa State going through a significant overhaul as well, with Jimmy Rogers coming in. And that's going to be interesting. The first Big 12 matchup for him, that's going to be a challenge. So it sets up pretty nicely for Utah, especially with those games at home, to kind of build confidence and build momentum. But there's still going to be some pretty unique challenges going on the road, 2 out of those last 3 weeks in that first 6 grouping.
Steve Bartle joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ute Insider Camp just about ready to begin. Have you and I were joking a little bit about this. it would be nice to think that Morgan might open things up a little bit and let the media see some things. But I think once that window starts to close, I don't think it's going to get reopened. I think it's probably going to be business as usual, correct?
Yeah, I would anticipate it's going to be business as usual. And, spring was great. Morgan opened things up for us, and we were up there pretty consistently. I want to say we were up there, man, the majority of practices, back in spring. But with fall camp, obviously it's just a different ball game. With the final preparations before the season begins, I would anticipate things just kind of being the same, where we get our media availabilities, maybe a 20-minute viewing session, and that'll be it. But that's sort of my expectation, and that's just the way that college football has turned fall camp into, is kind of limiting the media access. This is the last opportunity for these teams to put in those final preparations, final tweaks and things before they get going with the season kicking off just a few weeks later.
Bartle, how juiced are you for the season to get rolling?
Dude, I'm so ready for it.
I know you love this off-season stuff, but the season thing.
No, it's I tell people this all the time. It's like you find 1,000 different ways to say the same thing. And fortunately, with football, we have things throughout the year that kind of give us new content to talk about and digest, which is nice. But man, ready for this group to get on the gridiron and to provide us just new football to talk about.
So back to Eric Weddle a little bit. My favorite Weddle moment was I was doing pre-half and post on the radio broadcast for that 06 year, the last year of Eric Weddle. And it wasn't a particularly good year in terms of win-losses, but they're playing at Air Force, and they need to go down. I don't know if they were down, if it was tied or if they were down 1 or 2, but they needed a field goal to win the game. And it was the last drive. And, we can make whatever jokes you want about the Brett Ratliff era, but, Brett and Tommy Grady, they had some struggles that year. And Kyle Whittingham puts in Eric Weddle in as his Wildcat quarterback, and Eric takes every snap on that drive. And I even think he throws it a couple times, but for the most part, it's just going right, going left. He turns out the yards, gets him in field goal range. Louis Sakota bangs it through, and Utah wins. But it was just like, I'm going to hand this thing over to Eric Weddle, and I'm not going to let any other quarterback touch the ball. Frankly, I'm not going to let anybody else touch the ball. I'm just going to let this guy go and do it. And it's like Eric Weddle put that team on his shoulders, the offense on his shoulders, and took him down and won a game.
Yeah, he is an all-time talent for a reason, and just an all-time player. He did it all, and did it at a really high level. And the fact that he's now getting into coaching, it just makes all the sense in the world that he would embrace that type of role. He loves the game of football, and it's interesting. His son Gage Weddle is a 2028 prospect, a highly touted 28 prospect. Utah, BYU has been in the mix previously, and Ohio State, Georgia have been in the mix for him. And Gage, two-way player, just like his dad, playing quarterback, playing safety, and it's just perfect. Like, that was Eric Weddle doing a little bit of everything, and the fact that legacy potentially can continue with Gage, I think, is the ultimate compliment to Eric Weddle.
Is he a safety at the next level, Gage? Or
yeah. I think so. I think that'll be his best position. There are programs that are probably going to give him an opportunity, and you could potentially use him. If, like, for Utah, using Utah as an example, right? Using Bert Ficklin, right?
Yeah,
you could see Gage sort of mimic that same sort of role. But certainly, when you're talking about his long-term projection and where he fits best, not only at college, but at the professional level, because I think Gage has that sort of potential. It's definitely in that defensive secondary at safety.
By the way, Coach, you'll like this. Eric Weddle came on. I was asking about coaching and dealing with parents. He goes, I don't. He goes, I have a zero contact policy with parents.
You just untalk to them.
We won't talk.
I think that's smart. I've known coaches that do that in high school, and you probably get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, And if there's one guy that could get away with it,
Yeah,
it was,
you're trusting the beard.
yeah, it's like Eric Weddle is like, I don't want to talk to you.
I had it when I went back to school in 2005. I had a class with him. He was in the back of the class, but that's about the only Eric Weddle interaction I've ever had. We were in the same little class in there. That's not a shout out. It's not a punk.
It sure felt like it.
Oh God. Can it get to 2:00 so I can leave you too?
Oh, man. Hey, Steve, you're the best, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out and putting up with all of our nonsense at the barbecue, and look forward to catching up again soon.
Oh, let's barbecue again, Scotty. Appreciate you guys.
Tell Miles hi and to stop running around so much.
Yeah, right.
I love it,
Good
man.
luck.
That kid was awesome.
See you guys.
There he is. Steve Bartle, right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to spin the wheel and talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I think we need to give Bo Nix a little bit of credit. He's by far the best quarterback the Denver Broncos have had, probably the last 9 or 10 months. So let's take it easy on old Bo.
Oh, you guys are so proud of yourself.
I love that you chuckled there, though.
I love
The Bo Nix slander is pretty funny right now.
Yeah, the Bo Nix manufactured
I wouldn't even
slander.
say slander. Like it's pretty legit. Like there's a lot of question marks surrounding Bo Nix.
There's a lot. Well, I mean, let's be honest. If Vinny Iyer says it, it must be true. So, yeah.
I do not appreciate the Vinny Iyer slander. Don't do that. Be better. Than
no. I think Vinny is. We've seen the.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's see if we can get away from the Bo Nix talk. Let's get a little roulette wheel. We'll try to spin the wheel wherever the little white ball lands is what we end up talking about. Sports Roulette right here on the zone.
I can tell it's the last day of the week because I'm punchy over here.
Oh yeah, we do have tomorrow off, and then we will be back next week and full slate of shows ready to rock and roll, getting you ready for college football season. But with that, Lloyd, go ahead, spin it.
Yo, Bo, no.
CBS has come out with a ranking. This is a story that was posted on Broncos Wire, but CBS is not a fledgling organization, nor is it just two guys sitting behind a.
Pretty much it.
They rank Bo Nix among NFL's most overrated quarterbacks. Scotty, your thoughts?
Hey, you know what? Led the team to would have been an AFC championship had he not broken his ankle. Beat everybody's favorite in a AFC divisional game in what's his name from Buffalo. So I mean, honestly,
Jared Allen.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Jarrett. That's
Allen.
the basketball guy. But
so yeah, I think that I think his resume speaks for itself.
So you're gonna have it. You're gonna stand by his numbers.
I'm gonna stand by my guy Bo. Bo is one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League, and he'll be just fine.
Garrett Podell of CBS Sports with this quote.
You know what? It's interesting about. Isn't that the guy with the Motel 6? We'll leave the light on for you.
No, I think that's his uncle.
That's Tom
Garrett
Bodett.
Bodell?
That's Tom Bodett.
You're getting your that's Podell.
Podell.
The young quarter. In fact, let's get this guy on, Lloyd. The young quarterback's lumps directly led to Denver struggling to consistently drive the football down the field. 3 of the top 4 teams with the most punts in the 2025 regular season. The Browns, Titans, Raiders missed the playoffs and fired their respective head coaches. The 4th team in that group is Nix's Broncos with 75 punts.
Who also went to an AFC championship game. And, and won, what was it, 15, 14 games last year?
So
I think they were just fine.
We'll talk to Garrett next week at some point to kind of iron this out. But I
Garrett
just thought it's
Podell.
interesting on a day that we're talking Bo Nix, it comes up on the wheel.
Crazy how that worked. I think we're messing with the integrity of the will today.
I know nothing
we've
of that.
never done that, so don't.
I don't know. If I've never believed it before. Today might be the first day. I think there might be some shenanigans with that will back
You might
there.
be putting on a minute suspension over here. You have to sit in the radio penalty box.
If you put that out there, Scotty, you remember the movie The Cooler, right?
Oh, I do.
You remember
Absolutely.
what happened to
Great movie.
him?
It wasn't good.
Yeah. So don't you put the roulette wheel on blast like that. Don't you question the integrity, because that might happen to you.
Oh, stop it. You and which – well, never mind.
He's a bum, I say. Bum.
All right. Spin it.
DP favorite to win the Rookie of the Year?
Lloyd just posted this. So what kind of weird Joe Schmuckatelli service did you grab your stats from, Lloyd? Because that's what we're all doing today, is pulling out numbers from just random.
I think that's Tom Bodette put these odds out. The Motel 6 line of the day, brought to you by one of those betting companies.
No, this is coming from ESPN. These are the gambling odds currently for
the worldwide leader.
Yes, from the Rookie of the Year. Right now, Darren Peterson and Cam Boozer both at plus 330. A.J. DeBonsa coming in at third at plus 380. Caleb Wilson plus 425. Darius Acuff at 9-1. So there you go. Darren Peterson, Cameron Boozer, both with the best odds of winning Rookie of the Year 3 months before the season starts.
You were kind of talking Boozer early. I was talking about what an incubation spot for Darren to come into.
Yes.
The guys around him definitely insulate, and then he can do things to help. So, man, everybody's talking college football, and I can't wait for that. But we got a lot of things lined up, my guy.
Oh, we do. We do. All right, Lloyd, spin it.
Dum-Dum doing dumb things again.
Oh, Tom Dundon.
What's this dum-dum thing you speak of?
Dum-Dum.
What is that from?
Princess Bride.
Oh, that's when the big giant guy?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's Andre
And then he
the Giant.
says, I'll kill your father.
Yeah.
Dum-dum.
So there is the Mount Rushmore of play-by-play guys in the NBA. Kevin Calabro would be the George Washington on that Mount Rushmore. Was with the Sonics forever. Then when they moved, he took over the Portland Trailblazers. And, of course, he was in the middle of a contract negotiation when Tom Dum-Dum took over and the team, and they essentially fired him by giving him an offer that was so low that he essentially had to turn it down. Here's his quote. "It was a really disappointing offer that was not hard at all to turn thumbs down to, and realize that there was not much seriousness on the other end to get something done, which is fine if you wanted to end the relationship. But that's one way to do it, I suppose." Now, remember, he also had a quick tweet when it happened and said it was an easy decision to make. The offer was subprime. Taking a shot at Tom Dundon and how he made his billions of dollars is essentially taking advantage of people with some subprime loans on housing.
Love it. Love everything about it. Calabro. I just remember Locke playing when he had his show, all of his highlights, Calabro's, and how he's out there screaming and yelling and causing a scene, and it was so cool.
Speaking of Gary Payton, he'd always yell, "GP, are you with me?"
Exactly.
Yeah, just great stuff.
Good stuff. Great announcer. Hopefully he can find a home.
I'm sure he will, and he's at a point in his life where, I doubt that he needs to work. He's just been a fixture in the NBA for so long that the NBA needs him just to provide some level of sanity, because when you see a highlight from Kevin Calabro, you have to listen to it. He is just fantastic, and the fact that the Portland Trailblazers essentially gave him the middle finger and told him to go walking is pretty sad and ridiculous.
Very, very sad, but it just continues. It's how this guy's going to do things. He's going to do them on the cheap where he can.
All right, spin it.
Taking Tito's.
Shocking details out of Colorado, where former NBA player Ty Lawson was arrested for stealing a $34 bottle of Tito's vodka from a liquor store.
Is this pretty pricey vodka?
$34.
$34
a bottle. So I mean, less than a tank of gas.
Yeah, by a long shot. Yeah,
by a long shot. And yeah, so it's just crazy to see. Lawson apparently screamed and repeatedly called the officers horrible names, and kicked his sales glass wall and was yelling "stop!" Literally spit on the floor. It was not a good night for Ty.
It just bums me out how bad things can get for guys.
I know. It absolutely happened around 8 p.m. on July 16th.
Heck of a player back in the day.
Yeah, fast with the ball, right?
Yeah.
Very fast with the ball. Spent a lot of time with the Nuggets. But just disappointing. Unfortunately, hopefully he can get some help.
Yeah. It just, the stats on guys struggling post-basketball or post-professional sports in anything is pretty staggering and pretty scary.
It is. Very scary.
And I know that all the leagues are doing everything they can to try to protect these guys and try to educate them. But at the end of the day, there's this level of personal accountability that, you got to find a way to hold it together. But I know for a fact, and you've been around a lot of former athletes, you have such a high level of competition, and every day it's about getting better and trying to beat not only a teammate out for playing time, but beat the opponent, and everything is about competition. And then just like that, it's gone. And you have to direct that in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't have an outlet, sadly, sometimes substances and alcohol are needed to take its place.
And it's not even just the competition. It's you have no idea unless you're in it how fast paced. Like when you start traveling with your seasons,
Yeah.
Everything's a whirlwind, and you're moving at the speed of sound, and you're moving and shaking, and you're seeing things, and phones ringing. You're in the know. You're in the middle of things, and the minute you step out, all of it goes away. You stop traveling. You stop talking to the same people on the regular basis like you do with a team, and you can isolate, and you can make bad choices. And so yeah, it's definitely a huge thing when, like, we're talking about Brandon being done today.
Yeah.
Jump onto something, get yourself part of a team. You got your family, but that's the other thing, is just find something with your time. That's why I love what Mac's doing. Max, at his age, is still out there trying to do something good.
Well, look, you see a lot of these press conferences where guys announce their retirements and they're just bawling, just crying. And I think a lot of that is because the uncertainty, like they don't know what they're good for anymore. Like, this was your identity, and you were considered one of the best on the planet at that. And now you have 40 years left of your life, and you don't know what to do with it.
That's exactly it.
It's pretty scary, honestly.
And I think if they were really focused in on the wives, they're crying a lot too, because they've made a life with them not around, and then all of a sudden they're in the kitchen all the time.
They're like, hey, why are we taking the kid here? Like, I got the system. Just don't mess with the system.
You go find something to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to deal with you anymore. Yeah, no, that's that, by the way, is very real. We joke about that, but I know that we even joke about it. Bowler jokes about it when the season gets over and he's got some time on his hands. Sharon had everything lined up where to go, and so here comes Bowler coming in like, all right, I'm ready to help. Let's go. And she's like, hey, no, I got it. Like, don't disrupt the flow. I got the system in place. I'm sure Rachel had the same thing.
Totally. And I'm just trying to think about it, but I think my window was where I was out traveling and doing all that was basically 05 heavy to 19. So in those 14 years, you hit it on the head. Like, so much has changed, and people are using all these different apps to do things, and you're behind. So latch on to something about family, man. Family can take care of a lot of it. Just don't drive your wife crazy.
Don't drive them crazy. Take up barbecuing. Go get your.
See, that would be an awesome guitar. See, that's where all my time went into guitar.
Go get yourself a rig, and start barbecuing. Go get yourself a guitar. Teach yourself the guitar. Go outside. Get yourself a chainsaw. Do a little landscaping, a little yard work.
Or like our guy Kevin with the bandsaw.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got the bandsaw behind him and coming out of his mouth toward Bo Nix.
Yeah, he was cutting. It's not okay. All of you out there who got a phone call from Lloyd saying, hey, I need you to call in on this text line, and I need you to say bad things about Bo Nix, shame on you. Shame on all of you. Do better.
That
me.
didn't happen.
I mean, he didn't call me, but I did it on my own, so I'll take some of the shame.
97.
Wait, you were one of those?
I was the old man.
Oh, okay. How did you change your name?
I just typed it in different.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you can put your name in.
So, all right. So, okay.
I put in, I think I put in Lloyd.
Hold on. So I'm going to go voicemail.
Kull.
All right, here we go. Here we go. This is hit the
talk
to us button.
Okay.
Hi guys, long-time listener, first-time caller. Just want to let you know that I think Bo Nix is a tremendous player, and I think he's MVP caliber coming up this upcoming season. And I appreciate the show, Scotty. Hang in there. I know you're dealing with some dum-dums, but hang in there. We appreciate all you do.
Oh, that was glowing.
Oh, actually, now it's working. Oh, okay. Hold on. Reset recording. I did it wrong.
See, I tell you,
I thought I
had
had to have it held down the whole time. Bo Nix is awesome. He'll be great. MVP caliber. Scott, you're great. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Boom. There we go. Submit message. Agreed. Upload. There we go.
If it doesn't go through, there's a picture of Lloyd going, no. It pops up 3D image.
Yeah,
You're not getting through.
All right, we'll wrap up this bad boy next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Best radio in Utah is right here. This is Scotty G and the coach, Tim LeCaux, on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Bo Nix is the man. He's the bomb. He should have been the MVP of the Super Bowl last year if it wasn't for that fluke injury. And after his second Super Bowl win with Coach Payton here in the near future, even Vikings fans are going to wish that he was on their team.
No laugh track. No, you don't get to put a laugh track on there, Lloyd. Come on, that's a legitimate voicemail.
Bo Nix is the bomb. TheBomb.com.
Hey, I'm not allowed to make fun of Vinny Iyer. You're not allowed to make fun of our
What do you mean? You've been taking shots at Vinny Iyer all day.
Yeah, and you've addressed it.
Hasn't stopped you.
Not doing it.
Hasn't stopped you.
Come on, these guys are our lifeblood of our radio station, Lloyd. You can't be calling them out like that.
And I know we've talked about it during the show. I mean, emotion makes you do stupid things. I mean, this probably thing doesn't get turned on its ear if I'm not a little upset with you two to start. But I think I've worked through that watching Scotty get a lot of grief.
I think you've I think we're well past the Red Sox.
Yeah, we're way into Knicks territory.
I can't wait.
And that's where the winning streak ends for Boston.
We are getting together to watch the Raiders games this year somewhere. We're going to be in the same room, and come hell or high water, we'll take it like men.
I think we need to have a live stream of that too.
Not a bad idea.
We can't actually stream the game per se, but
right,
we
but
can stream
our
reactions to it. Yes. Yeah.
Like when I fly across and tackle you and
yes,
break a rib. To go with your shin.
My shin is not broken, although
it's just rubbery.
It's got some weird inflammation thing. Yeah, that's gone though now.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
that was odd.
I was
hoping
it doesn't make the weird grinding sound anymore, like a bandsaw.
I would think that's what the alien thing felt. You know, if you were to
yeah, when it's
I
already
thought you had
burst,
an alien in there, man.
Burst from the dude's stomach.
Lloyd,
right.
do you feel like you've done enough damage today?
I feel like there's still work to be done.
Well, you're going to have to do that with Jake and Ben. Try to tear that show apart.
Actually, just call me tomorrow and tell me you're not going to make it, and that'll just round out the week.
Coach, I'll call you around. I'll give you a call in the morning. I'll give you a heads up.
Is this tomorrow or Saturday you guys are walking?
I'm walking. Isn't it
That's
tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I know
You're throwing me off, bro.
The Bountiful one's on Saturday.
I was about to head to Eagle Mountain, not mountain.
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 Yeah. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.